how's your week been?
It's been good. It's busy since it's work, and anytime you have any downtime, of course, and trying to set up an apartment and going and getting odds ends from the old apartment and all that stuff. So yeah,
Oh
it's
man,
been a long one. On top of getting all my regular workouts in. So the fun never ends.
are you almost done with all of the move?
Yeah, like I literally today got the last few little itty bitty things I had at the old apartment, with the exception of I've got these two big cardboard stand-up cutouts, life size of uh, Ben Affleck as Batman and and Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man, and like they will not fit in my car.
Oh no. How did you get them in there to begin with?
A friend of mine got them for me, and he brought them in his car, and like so I've got to find somebody. Like my lease is up this weekend at the
Even
whole
if
place.
you lay the seat all the way down, like the
Yeah,
front seat, you
yeah,
can't open the trunk and like pass it
uh,
through.
I know, like, well,
Oh man.
that's the problem when you're a douchebag that drives a Dodge Challenger. Like, it's not exactly built for to have because like the Iron Man one's really ridiculous because it's like him flying, so it's got
Mhm.
all this additional space. So it's like 7 feet tall.
And it doesn't come apart at all.
No.
Oh man, that
Like
sucks.
I've already like because I was like, all right, like the Iron Man one's probably not gonna fit. Let's just try the Batman one. So the Batman one's already got creases in it from where I was just like jamming it,
Oh.
like
Mm.
all right. Uh, so if you're a podcast listener that lives near me and you have a truck and you want like a free session from Franchise Nutrition and Fitness.
We'll give it to you as long as you can help Matt move two life-size posters of
That's
Ben
great.
Affleck dressed as Batman.
We won't even we just won't be posted until way down the line. Like they'll just be sitting in the parking lot of my old apartment. So.
You should do that. You should offer people pictures for it. Like, hey, you want to come take a picture with these? And charge them like $2 or something, and then get an Uber X to Uber yourself
Oh,
over.
I have not thought about that. That's a last ditch effort. That's it's like, hey, I spent $40 to get these stand-ups to my new place. I don't even know where the hell I'm gonna put it because they were literally just like in the way at my old place because my old place
That's
was
great.
small. So like I don't know, like because a friend of mine he works at like the Delta Museum, and they did like this party thing. He's like, hey, you like superheroes? You want a stand-up Batman? I was like, yeah. He's like, you want the Iron Man too? I was like,
Yeah, of course. Why not? You're getting two superheroes whose greatest power is their wealth.
that's why they're two of my favorites. It's what I aspire to be.
Oh man. So both genius intellect, of course, but they use it to make lots of money by selling weapons to other governments and pseudo philanthropic things that actually are just their spy machines for everything. But yeah.
We could do a whole podcast on my feelings of Tony Stark and Bruce Wayne, and like on paper I should like Iron Man a lot more, but as you know, I'm a Batman fanatic.
Right, yes, on paper, but we also know that he went through AA and Batman did not
But Batman doesn't drink, so
often.
like I don't think it depends on I think I got this. Yeah, we just do a really super nerdy like.
It
All of a sudden, this is a comic book podcast, Jeff.
is now a comic book podcast. We don't talk about nutrition fitness. We have talked about superheroes in nutrition and fitness before and their transformations and how crazy they are. But not what we were planning on talking about today. Although, scrolling back through what we were going to talk about, I did see this X-Men 97 thing that's coming out from Disney Plus in a couple of weeks. Speaking of comic books,
Yeah, have held off on buying the action figures over and over again. Like, ugh. But they're probably gonna get bought. I don't know why I just didn't go ahead and buy them. I'm gonna get them.
yeah, I am excited and amazed. I was telling my wife about it, and she's like, "You are such a nerd." So, yes,
No,
touche.
no, no.
Don't disagree.
No,
Um,
my love of action movies and comic books and wrestling is what got me into fitness. So
right.
there you go.
Everyone wants to be a superhero. right? It's a standard thing. Nobody is shocked or surprised by it. It's just that that's how it is. Um, but speaking of, so I really appreciate it is.
Gabrielle Lyon.
Can you hear that?
I've been looking forward to having on this channel.
Sort of.
Dr. Gabrielle Lyon. She is an incredible doctor, and her biggest thing that she tells people is that we do not have an obesity crisis. We have a muscle crisis and a lack of it. So I heard her on somebody else's podcast talk about her 5 points for living longer. And they go down this list. The keys to living a longer, more vibrant life. Number 1 is the muscle health. We know that those with better muscle mass, more healthy muscle mass, have a greater survivability against nearly all cause of disease. So
I always tell people, like, I work a lot with weight loss clients or fat loss clients because I hate the term weight loss. But like they always, should I strength train? Yes. People that are wanting to be better for athletics, should I strength train? Yes. Older individuals that train, should I strength train? Yes. Like when in doubt, like always, every individual on the face of this planet should be doing some sort of strength training. And I always hate always hate the terms always and never when it comes to fitness and nutrition. But I will create a caveat with this. Always, there should be some variation of strength training for everybody. Like there, and that's why I say variation. Like, yeah, there's going to be differences in individuals, but everyone should be doing some sort of strength training.
yeah, even people that are bedbound in hospitals are put through exercises to help maintain their muscle mass as much as possible. In the ICU setting, currently, I saw this the other day. They have created hospital beds that have a leg press built into the bed so that it can turn the bed up kind of more vertical or at least a number of degree angle so that a patient can just do squats or they can put additional weight on the back of the bed to
So like the next time I have like just like an outpatient surgery of like, hey, I don't want to sit here for like 2 hours. Can you make sure I have the leg press bed just so like I can go ahead and get my physical
yeah,
therapy started?
I'm not disagreeing with you. And they're actually utilizing this stuff in intensive care units. So it's not people that are just on the floor outside of it. It's people that are in the worst absolute state of their health. And they're like, you need to do strength training.
I think a lot of modern medicine is skewing towards that way of that first point of like the importance of muscle. Like, and I think that's good. And it's yeah, I think we're behind in that. That we should have known that a long time ago. But at least it's good to see it.
Yeah. I am always amazed when people tell me that they don't want to get big and they don't want to get bulky and blah, blah, blah. Like,
Oh, so yeah, I know we talked about like I want to do another pet peeve episode at some point. So
yeah, maybe
listen
we'll do
later
that
on to
at the
that.
end of this one.
Yeah, yeah. Oh God.
So,
So yeah, yeah. Pet peeve of mine right there. Like
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
no,
We'll
no,
get to the pet
nobody
peeves.
gets big and bulky on accident.
Yeah. After you get done listening to this podcast, wait for the next one. You can listen to the pet peeve stuff. So the number 2 key to longevity from Gabrielle Lyon is mitochondrial health is a big one, and within skeletal muscle, mitochondria. So when I say mitochondria, what is mitochondria?
Powerhouse of the cell.
The powerhouse of the cell.
I think anybody, like, if you don't remember anything from science class in middle school, everybody remembers the powerhouse of the cell, right?
What is a key thing that takes place inside of the mitochondria?
Power.
Right?
Power.
Power. Inside the mitochondria, that's where the Krebs cycle takes place. It helps you create all of the energy that you need. It's important to keep those things healthy. To keep that healthy, you need to eat well. What things should you eat plenty of in order to make sure that the powerhouse of your cells function appropriately?
I mean, I would think that you're probably going to see what fruits and vegetables, right? That's
Absolutely. It's fruits and vegetables. vitamins, minerals, calories, carbohydrates.
Carbohydrates, wait, those are going to cause me to get fat, right? Like I'm supposed to be on a low carb keto diet.
Right. And there you will lose your muscle mass, which negates our point number one. So uh, her point number three is dietary protein intake. It's a little controversial because in the longevity space, you hear a lot of reducing dietary protein to maintain longevity. But that is, I don't disagree with that. I don't think that is controversial. But I think where it's going to come in, the point that people think is controversial is your source of protein. So it's not just dietary protein, it's also the quality of your dietary protein. So when I say that, Matt, what do you think I'm like referring to? What's the
Like I think about, just lean protein sources, like what you typically people think of as healthy sources of protein, healthy foods in quotation marks, lean beef, chicken, pork, turkey, different types of poultry, like the supplementation if needed, things like that. Good quality protein.
right? There is, I'll link in the show notes a list of the digestibility index for proteins. Right? There's a lot of stuff that's on there and how digestible it is. Inside of that list, the numbers are equated to how well it absorbs. So certain things are low on that list because your body doesn't really absorb them and utilize them. It kind of just pushes them out. And that goes back to what Matt was saying, making sure that you choose lean sources of protein because those ones typically are higher on that digestibility scale. Like an egg, for example, is really high on the digestibility scale because your body can utilize so much of the egg. And if you're a male out there or female, doesn't really matter. If you eat 3 whole eggs in a day, a study suggests that that could actually help increase your natural testosterone. Your free testosterone could just go up because you eat 3 whole eggs in a day. And that also is not going to negatively affect you. The consumption of a whole egg has actually been shown to increase your good cholesterol. So it's not going to harm you to eat 3 eggs in a day. I'm not saying that everybody should go out there and do 3 eggs in a day. I'm just saying if you're looking
I'm all for eating 3 eggs a day because I love
yeah,
eggs. So yeah.
if you're looking for a quality source of protein, an egg would be an example of that. Whereas bacon, I would not consider to be a protein. And that's because of the vast majority of it is saturated fat, right? So I hear people that are on keto say bacon is their source of protein. I'm like, it's not really.
Yeah,
There's
that's
maybe
flip it over, and what a lot of people don't do. Flip it over, look at those nutrition facts. It's not super high in protein. Look at the amount of fat. Look at the amount of sodium, and all this other fun stuff that you're going to be taking in to get your couple of grams of protein per slice of bacon.
yeah, you want to try to keep your saturated fat to less than 20% of your total daily calories, which I know sounds crazy to people, but it's not really hard to get that too high, and or sorry, you want to keep your total fat to 20% or less, and your saturated fat to 10% or less of your total calories. And that it's not that complicated. It's not hard to get that number up beyond 10%. So choosing lean meats as often as you possibly can helps
Yeah,
negate
if
that.
you eat the standard American diet, yeah, it's very easy to overeat on saturated fat big time.
All right. And then her fourth point is acceptance. When we recognize that life is precious and it is short, and we become very much more in the moment, and peripheral things matter less.
That's a hard one. Like that, yeah, it's definitely something, yeah, that I've gotten better with over the last several years, and I think it's difficult for most people out there.
Yeah. When we work with clients at Franchise Nutrition and Fitness, we, our primary focus is the nutrition and fitness, but we do take it from a whole approach. Like your mental state works a lot in how well you do with your exercise and how well you are to maintain your nutrition status and follow a plan. Like if you're mentally frazzled, it's going to be really hard to keep everything together. And so we also work with people in mindfulness exercises and adjusting your sleep to help you with those mindful exercises and so on. Like there's a whole approach to making sure that you achieve your goals that you have with your nutrition and fitness, because that affects everything outside of it.
Absolutely. I think a lot of people don't realize, physical activity and exercise are a stressor to the body. Your body will have a stress response to it. So if you're extremely mentally and emotionally stressed out from work, family, finances, whatever else, like it's a detrimental thing. So like we want to get that figured out as well, so you can get all the positive benefits of your physical activity.
Yeah. And so then her last thing, so these are 5 points from Dr. Gabrielle Lyon, and hopefully one day we'll have her on the podcast. It would be awesome. In this podcast that I was referring to, she's wearing a Def Leppard shirt, so she's obviously an '80s metalhead like we
Well,
are.
there you go. I got my Guns N' Roses shirt on today. So
Yeah, hey, yeah. Appetite for destruction. All right. Number 5 is most important: longevity perspective. Gastrointestinal health. Gut health and gut health interfaces with muscle and interfaces with brain health and interfaces with everything. So we treat gastrointestinal issues after clinic practice all the time. And so I would say if we're thinking about gut health, lean proteins, fruits, vegetables, vitamin D fortified foods, if you get all of those things in, you're probably going to start really changing your gut health overall.
absolutely. I think that's one of those things that there's a lot more newer research coming out with it, and people try to overcomplicate it. And like you just simplified it. Like I always think of lean proteins, good sources of fiber. And like you said, so fruits and vegetables, whole grains, boom, you're set with that. And yeah, just eating more kind of whole foods and not all this crazy stuff of having to supplement with this or do all these crazy things. But if you're eating, quote, a healthier diet, you're pretty set with that.
Yeah, I'll link it in our show notes, but we did an episode about anti-inflammatory diets and how that isn't really a thing. When you look at those diets, its structure, its backbone is fruits and vegetables and whole grains and lean sources of protein. And the opposite of that, highly processed foods, things that are fried and whatever you want to fry it in, and concentrated sources of calories that are kind of empty, not very nutritive things are inflammatory, quote unquote, inflammatory. And that's just because those things leave you feeling terrible and not feeling good, where the other side of it helps you feel better and great. And so I think that's where we're going to end it today. I just wanted to quickly review Dr. Gabrielle Lyon's 5 points for longevity. I completely agree with her. I think those
Absolutely.
things are all the way in.
Absolutely, it's the keep it simple, stupid approach. Like I said, you'll hear me say this a million times on this podcast. If you talk to me at any time, like people overcomplicate this, and I thought that was a very simplified list of like stuff that's fairly easy to follow for a long, healthy life.
Yeah. Like we always say, sign up for your free meet and greet at franchisenf.com. Either way, every day you need to maximize every bite.
Maximize every rep.
All right, we'll call that episode 1. We have enough time to record one more.
Yes.
One more. Hopefully, when I go to edit this later on, I'll appropriately clip it so I don't have to do the whole thing twice. But